Good morning everyone. Welcome to the introductory lecture of VLSI Interconnects course. I have numbered this lecture as lecture 0 because we won't be starting with the main content of the course in this lecture. The aim of this lecture is to introduce you about the course, what we will be dealing with, so that your expectations are set right and you know what you would be encountering in this course. So let me first introduce myself. I am Sarang Pendarkar. I am the instructor for this course. Here is my email ID. You would be getting my email ID also. So when you write emails to me regarding this course, I have a request that you include the course code in the subject line so that it helps me in sorting the emails regarding this course, so that no email is lost out. Please don't send me emails with no subject because they tend to be lost. My background is that I have MTech and PhD from IIT Bombay. I completed my PhD from IIT Bombay in 2014. After that I was in Canada doing postdoc, and I am with IIT Kharagpur since May 2018. This is the fourth time I will be teaching this course. The first two times were in offline mode in person, and last year also I taught this course in an online mode. So my research areas include electromagnetic wave matter interactions, microwave circuits and microwave photonics. So you might be wondering that with this research area and with this background, what I will be covering in a course on VLSI interconnects. So let me tell you that my background is not in VLSI. So however, I will tell you how this relates to what we'll be looking at. So let me turn off my video. Okay. So in a regular course, the first lecture would have been an interactive sort of session where a lot of students walk into the lecture and then they ask questions or about their expectations from the course. So the purpose of this lecture is to try to emulate that in a virtual environment. So I'm just pointing out some of the questions which come from the students. So the first question is that what is this course about? As the name suggests, the course is about interconnects in VLSI. So basically what we'll be dealing with is the interconnecting wires which connect to devices or multiple devices in an IC. But what we'll be dealing with specifically on those connecting wires, we will be doing the electromagnetic and circuit modeling of the interconnects. So we won't be dealing with much of VLSI, but we will be seeing why electromagnetic and circuit modeling is required for even those connecting wires. So why is this course important? The main reasons are that signal travels with a finite velocity. So far in your say circuit design, digital and other courses, you might have neglected the finite velocity with which a signal travels. So suppose there are multiple gates or multiple devices, or there is a clock, and then that clock has to be delivered to say 1000 or 1 lakh ICs, 1 lakh devices. Then the velocity with which that clock will be traveling will have a finite velocity. Also, the signaling wires has finite dimensions and non-ideal material properties. We will see how these dimensions affect the velocity with which the signal travels. So primarily the signal travels in two modes. One is the diffusion, which we will look at in the RC modeling of the interconnect, and the other is the wave, which we will look at in the RLC modeling of the interconnect. With non-material properties, what I mean is that the conductivity is finite. So the connecting wire is not an ideal conductor. It has some losses, it heats up, and it also breaks down. So we will also be looking at what is electromigration. So under the flow of under the pressure of the flow of electrons, the material might just break, or there might be some undesired deposition of metal ions at some undesired location. So all of this comes because of the finite dimensions and non-ideal material properties. So we'll be discussing that, how to model heat and other things. Also what we'll be looking at is that signaling wires interact. So the interconnects are not alone. There are large number of interconnects in an IC, and then they are not isolated. There is an electromagnetic coupling between them, and we'll go into the details of how to model that and how to extract those parameters and other things. So what is happening is that with scaling down of dimensions and increasing clock and operating frequencies, the interconnect effects have started to dominate the design process. So if you look at the typical clock frequency which is there in latest CPUs, it goes beyond 2 gigahertz. So it's already in microwave range. I mean, your Wi-Fi frequency is 2.4 gigahertz, which is RF, which is microwave frequency, and your clock frequencies are also now going up to 3.1 and in that range. So your CPU is already a microwave device. So there are many things which comes on top of that, and then this signaling wire and the finite velocity with which the signal travels, that becomes important. So it is also important to clearly state that what this course is not. This is not a technology course. There is a separate dedicated course on VLSI technology. So if you are expecting that, you should be taking that course. It's very important course if you want to understand about the VLSI process and fabrication process. But here we will not be discussing about the fabrication process of interconnects. Another question which comes to me in the first lecture is that, will this course useful for me? And most often it is implied that what they mean is regarding the placements and other things. So let us set the expectations right. So here I will quote Richard Hemming from his book on art of doing science and engineering. There he says that education is what, when and why to do things. Training is how to do it. Of course, either one without the other is not of much use. So I want to clearly state that this particular course inclines more towards education. To give you an example, there is something called Elmore delay, which you might have encountered if you have done a course on, say, VLSI CAD or in one of your circuits, analog circuits or digital circuits course, if interconnect was considered. So Elmore delay basically tells you what would be the RC delay of a interconnect or a branch entry of interconnects. So if I want to train you in using Elmore delay to estimate the delay, I can do that in, say, around 1 hour. I can tell you how to compute the Elmore delay. I can take the RC equivalent network for an interconnect and then how to compute that delay. But in this course, we will take around 5 to 6 lectures to reach to that Elmore delay. So we will be actually referring to the first paper by Elmore, which was in 1948, and that paper does not talk about interconnects at all. That was the year when BJTs were invented. So it was not for electronic components, electronic devices and circuits. But in that 1948 paper, he introduced some interesting ways of estimating delay, which later on became useful when researchers were trying to find a compact closed form expression for getting the interconnect delay. So we will be going all through this process. In this course, we will be referring extensively to research papers. The content of this course is developed over like last 3 to 4 years, and most of it is based on a research paper. So I will also be giving you references to few of the papers which I will be directly referring to. This will be a pen and paper course. So in a regular class, I rarely use slides. This is only a few lectures I will be using slides. So I think first this lecture and the first lecture I will be using slides, and in intermediate few lectures I might be using slides, where pictures and other things are required. But other than that, this will be a pen and paper course. So make sure that you have a notebook dedicated for this course. And as we go through this course, you will be required to write down things, derive things, and solve some numericals and all. So this should be clear. So it's not a course where we just go through the slides and you will get all the contents. You will have to work with pen and paper. You will have to do the derivations. However, I would also emphasize that it's not that I am not giving any emphasis to the any importance to the training part. So we will also be doing some SPICE simulations on RC interconnects, RLC interconnects, coupling, crosstalk, jitter, and all those things. So we will be doing some simulations. Last year we did it in online mode as well. So I hope that we can continue it this year as well. Right. So now, after setting the expectations part, now let us come to like why we should bother about the interconnects. So for illustration, I have taken an example. There is a register here. So basically, this is just an illustrative example. This is not specific to this D flip-flops. Basically, what you have is that if you have a register level or architecture level layout, you have a clock which then feeds these different registers, and then in this analysis you assume that okay, all of these are synchronized because your signal comes. So when this is turned on, this is enabled, this is enabled, and this is enabled. They happen simultaneously. Now, if I give you an extreme, if I take this to an extreme level, suppose these distances were of astronomical scale. So suppose you are sending a signal from, for example, Earth, and this was say your Mars, Jupiter, and Saturn. So there it would have been obvious to you that okay, I mean I can't synchronize this because it will take a substantial amount of time for signal to reach from Earth to the Mars, and then substantial more to the Jupiter, and then to Saturn. So then it's not straightforward to synchronize it. But on a microscopic scale, you might not have considered this. So in this course, we will look at why that has to be considered, when that has to be considered, and how that has to be considered. So this is at the register level. Then you can go to gate level. So you have a NOT gate and an AND gate here. So again, in all these digital circuits and analysis, what you have always assumed that this is a wire. I mean, whatever voltage you give here, that voltage would be appearing at this end, and whatever voltage you give at this E would be simultaneously appearing at this end and this end, right? So if I go to another level down to say transistor level, what we are basically assuming is that if I have a voltage V1 here at the output of your first gate, then the same voltage would appear at the input of your subsequent gates, right, or subsequent nodes V2 and V3. So what we assume is that we assume an ideal behavior. So suppose because of some device characteristics, there was this transient like character here in your V1. So with time, this axis is time, this one is voltage V1. So suppose your voltage V1 was following this curve. We assume that your voltage V2 and also V3 would be following this curve, right? But does that happen in practice? Do you think that this wire, which you had assumed to be a perfect conductor and with no delay on its own, would happen in a real situation, right? So in practice, what would happen is that your devices, your wires are not ideal. So what would actually happen is that if your voltage follows this curve, your input voltage, your output voltage of the first device, which is the input voltage to your interconnect, follows this curve V1, your V2 would follow something like this. There would be a delay, so your T3 would be definitely greater than T1, and your V3 might not be equal to V2. So this would be a practical scenario where you would be getting a delay and other distortions in the signal. So we will be simulating all of these in later part of the course. The point here to note is that this interconnect itself has its own signal integrity issues. And now we have reached that bottleneck where the interconnect issues have started to dominate the signal integrity. So in the next lecture, when we look at some numbers, we calculate some delays, and for a crude model, it will become bit more clearer. Right. So physics. So this is again at the transistor level, but actually at the device level, what is happening is this. So these are your this is your gate oxide, this is your gate oxide, and then these are the interconnects. So aluminum, copper, and then tungsten is used for shorter scale interconnects. This photograph is taken from digital IC lecture notes. I will be providing you with these notes. This is from UC Berkeley by Professor B. Nikolic. So this is one cross section of a modern dual well CMOS process. So you can see the interconnects would be like this. So devices are becoming smaller than interconnects. You can see this, right? Devices have become smaller, and then interconnects are actually now sort of a bottleneck there, where we can which are limiting the performance of your ICs. So this would be the course content. This is module 0. The first lecture will also be on module 0. There is only first lecture in module 0, which will be introduction to the interconnects. We will be discussing the points which I just mentioned in more detail in the next lecture. Then module 1 will be on RC modeling, basically distributed RC modeling. Module 2 will be on RLC modeling, resistor, inductor, capacitor. R, L and C means resistor, inductance and capacitance. So we will see that why inductive effects cannot be ignored, when inductive effects cannot be ignored, and how do they contribute to the delay mechanism in your interconnect. Then module 1 and 2 basically will be dealing with the finite velocity with which a signal travels. In module 1, we will be deriving what is called the diffusion equation, and we will see that in an RC interconnect, the physical mechanism with which a signal travels is diffusion. In module 2, we will be looking at that if there is inductance present, then and also resistance present, then the mechanism with which a signal propagates is governed by the diffusion equation as well as the wave equation. So with L and C, the wave phenomena is introduced in your interconnect. So we'll be looking at that in module 2. In module 3, we'll be looking at additional effects in interconnects, which includes skin effects. Skin effect you might be familiar with, but we'll see how that affects our interconnect and the signal integrity in interconnect. We'll look at power dissipations, how interconnect contributes to the power dissipation. We'll look at the thermal effects, and we'll look at how to model those thermal effects. So there is a power dissipation, because of that there would be heating, and heating will start creating its own issues. So we'll be looking at how to model those hotspots and thermal hotspots, and how to mitigate those. Look at some of the solutions to mitigate those. Then we'll be looking at one of very important and hot topics, which is electromigration. So electromigration is a very active area of research, and it is expected that in near future electromigration will become the bottleneck in further scaling down of your interconnects. Then in module 4 we will be looking at coupling in interconnects, but here, because as you can see, I mean, there are so many interconnects closely spaced, so they won't be isolated. A signal which travels on one interconnect also induces currents and voltages on adjacent interconnect. So we will be looking at how do we model it. We will be looking at how to mathematically model it, how to decouple the interconnects, and how to get the delays, crosstalk and jitter. In module 5 we will be looking at how to extract those interconnect parameters. So to start with, we will be assuming that there is some resistance, there is some capacitance. To start with, we will take a very simplistic model for resistance and capacitance, but later on in module 5 we will see how to actually extract those resistance of that interconnect or capacitance of that interconnect from the physical structure. So here we will be using what is the computational tools for full wave simulation and extraction of interconnect parameters. In module 6, this is if time permits, we will be looking at into what are the current trends and what we would expect in near future. So there we would be discussing possibly through silicon vias, photonic interconnects, and we'll looking at future trends like something on carbon nanotubes and other things. But this is if time permits. Now this course is an evolving course. There is no fixed textbook for this. So every year I introduce few new topics which were not covered in the previous years, and I make it a point to refer to at least 1 or 2 papers from the current year. So for example, in 2021 I will be referring to some papers which were some research which was published just in this 2021 year. So in the last 6 to 7 months, whatever has been published. So the aim here is to keep you near the cutting edge. In this course we also tentatively plan to do some SPICE simulations. So LTSPICE is a free software tool available, so you can use that. So there is RC model, we will be doing that, RLC model, coupled interconnects, and then we will try to reproduce some results in research papers. So I may also give you some derivations to follow up on a research paper. So in terms of course outcomes, on successful completion of the course, it is expected that a student should be able to assess the conditions at which an RLC model is required, and when does a simple RC model does not suffice, he should be able to, or he or she should be able to compute the delays and overshoots and other effects which are present. We should be able to understand physics behind electromagnetic coupling in interconnects, mathematical models for analysis of coupled interconnects, and the consequences of coupling, which include crosstalk, noise and timing jitter. Then we will also look at how to extract interconnect parameters. So you should be able to understand what happens there. You should, when you are using a full wave simulation, you should be able to understand what actually goes behind the extraction of those parameters. You should be able to model power dissipation, thermal effects and electromigration in interconnects, and you should be able to compute and simulate the above mentioned topics. On top of that, you should be able to comprehend cutting edge research in this area. So that is one of the aims which I have for this course, that after completion of this course, you should be up to date with what's happening with interconnect technology in terms of its modeling and things. So we'll be referring to papers as I mentioned, and you should be able to understand new papers which come up in this area. So what would be the mode of the course? We'll use Moodle to actively communicate the course materials, lectures and other things. I will record, to start with at least, I will record video lectures and post them every week. We will also have one live interactive session every week. So keep the lecture slots free. The live session would be most likely in the Friday 8 AM slot. And on Thursday or Wednesday slots, we will be having quizzes and evaluations whenever that is due. So keep these lecture slots free. The first lecture interaction session we will have is this Friday. The evaluation policy will follow the continuous evaluation policy, which would include online quizzes, possibly derivation assignments and simulation assignments. A project might be given as a part of evaluation, but it will depend on what is the final strength of students. Then weightage of various components and evaluation policy will be informed during the course, because in a dynamically evolving situation, there might be a central guideline which comes from the institute, and we will adhere to that. The grading will be relative, so I have a sort of philosophy that master's level course or research level course I keep relative grading, and an undergrad level course I keep absolute grading. So for this course, the grading will be relative. Another question which I encounter often is that where should I study from? So basically there is no textbook for this course. There are few books. So there is one book from 2003, Interconnect Technology Design for Gigascale Integration. I may refer to some of the parts from this book, but this book, I mean, you can see this is how many, 18 years old. So by that time lot of things have changed in technology. So this you may look into, but I will not be following extensively from this book. Again, there is a recent book which is Fundamentals on Electromigration Aware Integrated Circuit. So most of the content which I cover on electromigration, that can be found in this book. But for other materials, it's, as I said, like we will be referring to journal papers starting from 1948 to 2021. So as we progress in the course, for each topic I will be giving you a list of journals. I will be giving you the links, and you can access those from the IIT Libraries subscription. If you have any issues, I can also share the material with you. So the mode where I will post this is Moodle. It will take few days to set up the Moodle page, but in 1 week or so it should be up. Right. So with this I stop this introductory lecture, and in the next lecture we will start with looking at some numbers and looking at the scenario where, or say for example, the conditions at which your interconnect starts playing a role. Right. So with this I will stop the lecture. Good day.